the ideal playing action of the finger should be that all action originates from movement of the first finger joint and not holding this rigid, frozen, and moving from the knuckle, for example, like this. Just as a quick analogy, digitizing from the knuckle would be akin to holding your arm out like this in order to pick up, let's say, a pencil or something, object on the table, and working it like so. You're picking up the pencil all the same, but there's tension because these joints, the wrist and the elbow, is frozen and not moving. So I hope you can see that analogy. It's not the same thing. This is not the optimum of flexibility and motion to hold the wrist and the elbow fixed in a locked position. So in the same way, you might be able to get away with playing the piano and negotiate passages, but I would contend that if you run up against technical obstacles, let's say in scale playing, chances are the problem lies because these joints are not working properly. Okay, so I hope that clarifies that situation. It is critical to make sure in our playing that the first finger joint is the point of origin for every finger stroke at the keyboard. Okay, so conditioning and exercises. Here's a great exercise you can do to open up this first finger joint. You just need a flat surface like so. It can be the lid, down on your piano, table. What you want to do is lay your fingers flat, palm flat on the table. And what you're going to do is hold the second joint down with the other hand so that it's locked. And what you want to do is push forward until you see that first finger joint pumped up like that. And you could do this however many times until you can be sure that that first finger joint is in fact moving and flexible. So this is not only a good exercise, but it's a good indicator. If it's like the first time you've ever done this, you will find that sometimes this joint is amazingly rigid. But what we're doing is we're breaking down the resistance. And you'll see through time, by doing this exercise, that your control at the keyboard when playing is amazingly magnified. In other words, you'll fine-tune your control at the keyboard. So of course, after working this, and you should do it probably 5-10 times, take a break, and of course, avoid any threshold of pain. Just a little bit every day. Continued gentle effort is much better than a sudden violent effort. And that applies, of course, to everything we do at the piano, practice. A continued daily gentle effort is much better than sudden bouts of violent effort. So just keep that in mind. Then you would proceed, of course, to the next. Same thing, hold the second finger joint down with the other hand, push forward, and make sure you see that joint moving. And again, if it feels rigid, don't worry. Through time, if you do this actively for a daily amount of time, you will find it loosening up and getting more flexible. And that's what we want to see. And go to the next finger, and the next. Thumb, of course, works in that vertical manner, so you don't need to worry about the thumb. We're talking about these fingers here. Okay, and then proceed to the other hand and the same thing. So use this exercise as a conditioning of the fingers, but also to gauge how flexible are your first finger joints. They need to be flexible. We should never hold anything rigid at the piano or in our playing. But the fact remains that the fingers do need to be very strong. You need to be able to rip off safe locks if the need be. But we should never hold it rigid. But the fingers do need to be strong. So that is an exercise that I would suggest to you to try to bring flexibility into the hand and condition the fingers.